Everyone asks it at least once in their life. That three-word prayer, the angry one, the broken one. Why me? Some whisper it in hospital rooms. Some shout it in their cars. I said it one afternoon, kneeling on a bathroom floor that suddenly felt like holy ground. That was the day everything I thought I knew about fairness collapsed, and something quieter, deeper, took its place. You see, nobody tells you that heartbreak doesn't always look like heartbreak. Sometimes it looks like exhaustion or guilt, or pretending you're fine because you don't know another way to be. On paper, I should have been okay. Job, home, family. But life doesn't check resumes when it decides to test you. That year stripped me down to the version of myself I didn't want anyone to see. And everything started with a phone call, the kind that stops time mid-breath. It said three words that still echo. There's been news. Asterisk. They say bad news doesn't travel fast. It ambushes. It doesn't knock. It just walks straight through the door and sits where peace used to be. That day, it came for me through a doctor's voice. A diagnosis. Not fatal, but life-changing in all the ways that count. Autoimmune disease. Those two words formed a new silence in the room. I nodded like some professional patient, but inside, it felt like being erased. My first thought wasn't bravery. It was rage. Then came the guilt for feeling rage, and under both, fear. That night, I sat by my bedroom window, seeing but not really seeing the city lights. And the question formed before I could stop it. Why me? Asterisk. People talk about anger like it's an explosion. Mine wasn't. It was a slow simmer, a polite bitterness I carried with practiced grace. I went to work, nodded through conversations, said it's fine because anger needs a mask to survive in polite spaces. But alone, I was furious at everything. The sunrise I didn't feel like chasing. The mirror that showed a tired stranger. The friends who promised to call but didn't. Even God felt distant, silent in ways that made me wonder if he'd changed his number. I punched pillows, cursed prayers, wrote letters I never sent, and every time I tried to reason with the universe, the same question circled back like a stubborn echo. Why me? I started hunting for answers the way desperate people do. Articles, forums, podcasts about positivity. Everyone said the same script. Everything happens for a reason. I wanted to believe them. But sometimes, pain doesn't come with subtitles. It just comes. And your only job is to survive it. 3 months in, medication became routine. Doctors, appointments, fatigue, all blending into background noise. And then, my mom got sick too. Like some cruel twist, the universe threw in to see how far I'd bend. I remember whispering into the dark one night, "Okay, I get it, life. You win. Just stop." But it didn't stop. It happened one morning between laundry loads and checking emails. The small kind of breakdown that doesn't make headlines. Just a soft collapse of, I can't do this anymore. I sat down on the kitchen floor and cried without sound. For the first time in months, I wasn't pretending I was strong. I just admitted the truth I had buried under every "I'm fine." I said it again, barely above a whisper. Why me? But this time, something strange happened. It was like the air shifted. Not a miracle, not some divine whisper. Just the quiet realization that my voice sounded different, less demanding, more surrendered, like I wasn't asking the world to fix me anymore. I was just letting it hear me. I looked out the window again. Same city, same faint hum of traffic. But for the first time, I noticed small things. A dog tugging a leash. Sunlight through a coffee cup. Someone carried too fast. Ordinary moments. Unfairly alive while I wasn't. And that's when something inside me cracked open. Not in a dramatic way. Just a small shift in meaning. I realized I'd spent months waiting for life to give me back what it took. Instead of learning what it was trying to give through it. Maybe the question, why me, was never meant to be answered. Maybe it was meant to be lived. I started small. Walks around the block. Journaling 3 sentences at night. Not about what I lost, but what was still quietly beautiful. Some days, the list was pathetic. Had tea without pain. Saw a kid laugh at pigeons. But slowly, those tiny fragments stitched something together, something stronger than optimism. Perspective. Healing didn't look like fireworks. It looked like humility. I stopped trying to negotiate with the universe. Started saying thank you instead of why me. Not because everything got better, but because maybe everything already being here was enough. One morning, I passed the bathroom mirror and caught my reflection. Hair messy, eyes dark, but alive. I didn't look healed, but I looked real. For once, I didn't see the patient, the victim, or the old version of me that once could. I saw someone standing exactly where they needed to be. Not waiting for the pain to leave before learning from it. If I could go back, I'd tell that scared version of me something simple. Stop begging life for explanations. Start asking what it's teaching you. Those lessons hurt, but they're the ones that stay. Months later, I ran into a woman at the clinic. She was new, her hands shaking like mine used to. We exchanged polite words, both pretending we weren't terrified. She looked up and whispered the line I'd once cried. Why me? And it felt like time folded. The old me standing in front of myself. I wanted to fix it for her. But no phrase in the universe feels right when you're standing in the fire. So I didn't try. I just said, I used to ask that too. Then I realized maybe the answer is because you're strong enough to find meaning after it. She didn't smile right away, but her breathing slowed. And that small, quiet change felt like grace. Acceptance isn't a single moment. It's millions of tiny ones. Choosing not to fight what already happened. It's not about surrendering to weakness. It's about making peace with reality without losing curiosity. Days still get heavy. Some mornings, I still feel the ache behind my ribs, reminding me I'm human. But the difference is, now, when pain knocks, I make it tea. Because maybe it showed up as a teacher, not an intruder. And that shift changes everything. People love to talk about healing like it's a finish line. Mine wasn't. It's messy, ongoing, part laughter, part medicine, part faith, part chaos. But real growth came when I stopped treating pain like an interruption. When life breaks you open, it doesn't mean you're broken forever. It means something inside needed air. The day I stopped asking, why me? I started asking, what now? And what now gave me back my life. It gave me permission to start again, slower, softer, but more alive than before. Now gratitude feels different. It's not a happy list taped on a fridge. It's a quiet foundation, where even pain fits somewhere inside, without ruining the whole structure. I still thank life for ordinary things. The hum of rain on the roof. Friends who stayed, bad days that remind me good ones still exist. And maybe that's the greatest hidden blessing. When you live long enough to see how suffering turned into soil for something peaceful. If you're hearing this right now, if your version of why me has been echoing too long, you don't have to silence it, but you can soften it. Let it lead you somewhere, not just break you. Ask different questions. What can this teach me? How can I use it to build compassion? Because growth almost always disguises itself as unfairness first. Only after living through it do we see the shape it left. Guidance. The answer to why me is never punishment. It's assignment. Last spring, I visited my mom's favorite park, the one near the pond with stubborn ducks who ignore everyone. A kid ran up next to me feeding breadcrumbs, smiling like the whole world was in on a joke I hadn't heard yet. His dad caught up, breathless. We chatted a bit, random small talk, nothing deep. Before leaving, he said, "My wife was diagnosed with MS last year. She has good days and bad days. The bad ones make the good ones shine." It was such a simple sentence, but it landed like scripture. Because maybe all along, life had been whispering that truth. That light doesn't erase shadow. It needs it to be seen. That night, I walked home lighter. Not healed, not enlightened, just awake. I still think about that day on the kitchen floor, the helpless version of me demanding clarity. And I wish I could hold their face gently and say, "You were never being punished. You were being planted. And look at you now. You grew." Because that's all any of us are asked to do. Not to endure without feeling, but to let what breaks us teach us how to rebuild differently. The world doesn't owe us explanations, but it gives us endless chances to turn pain into perspective. The day I stopped asking, why me, wasn't the day I got answers. It was the day I started seeing my questions as the beginning, not the end. Pain will find you, but peace is what you build when you stop fighting what already is. And if you ever forget how to start, remember this. The answer to why me is always the same. To grow. To everyone asking why me, keep going. You're becoming.